Hey everybody, Jay Barino here, welcome back, thanks for joining me today. I'm starting a new custom campaign showcase for StarCraft Brood War. It's been a hot minute since I've returned to Brood War. And this is Overlord, created by iquare. iquare can bring me back to Brood War, that's for sure. iquare has created some of the most interesting and fun campaigns that I've played in Brood War, like Salvation, Raider's Roll, and the Reaver Menace. So Overlord he's been working on for quite some time now. It's a very heavily modded version of StarCraft. iquare also won Mapmarino 2018 with a StarCraft 2 submission. So I would say he's a very creative and ambitious person when it comes to StarCraft. I'm looking forward to see what this is about. Alright, so there are 3 maps. This is more of like a demo of the mod as opposed to a full-on campaign, but he released these and I wanted to try them out, so we're going to do that over the next couple weeks. Entry point. A stranded mercenary group tries to break through the Confederate blockade to get off the planet. Planet Garn 4, November 3rd, 2487, Mercenary Compound. Noticed anything unusual? Besides a pirate ambush halfway back, not much new. Confeds have reinforced themselves around the airfield. I've also noticed strange activity in the old refueling station in the northeast, but when I've checked it out, it was just some smuggler hub. And the Confeds haven't attacked us yet. They're waiting for reinforcements. This isn't looking good, men. If we're going to get off this piece of rock, we have to take down their air forces as soon as possible. Destroy all starports of Gamma Squadron. Deal with the pirate threat. Optional. Acquire an ally. So I tried recording this already, and my microphone settings had been reset by stupid Zoom that I had used the night before, so I'm actually replaying this, and I think that's for the best. I'll explain why. This mod, or this map, but really the mod overall is, as you can see, it's basically a total conversion mod. Totally separate tech trees. There are some normal Terran enemies on the map, but so much is different. But having experienced it a little bit, I think maybe that'll give me an opportunity to maybe share a bit with you all. Again, because just not having... the first time I played it, basically everything is unlocked. The entire tech tree is available to us, and it's quite overwhelming. So I think it's actually a good thing that I had my opportunity to experiment a little bit before now coming in and showing you all, so I can kind of explain what I know. I'm by no means well-versed. I'm still very overwhelmed, but I can talk a little bit about how this works. So we have these engineers. These are our workers. Eventually we can get an excavation upgrade. I don't actually remember what that is. I assume it lets them harvest faster or something. So because everything is available and it is the first map, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is try to tech up quickly so that I can look at all the upgrades and look at all the units and I can show you all. Again, I don't remember much, but it kind of comes down to there being an air unit where I'm just going to make a lot of a specific air unit and it's gonna be great. So I'm going to make our Merc compound here. That's sort of our barracks unit. There is auto mine on the when you build here. So when this guy finishes building, he'll probably go back to mining automatically. Also, I can rally on to minerals, so it's like smart rally. That doesn't exist in original StarCraft. It's nice and handy.
Standing by. Go, go,
I'm gonna come on down here, and we got these little trucks, these cargo trucks, kind of zip zooming around. There's a bunch of stuff all around this map that's going on that we can't see currently, but there's a really interesting diplomacy aspect to it that I can show you all soon as well.
Jacked up and good to
So
go.
there's a nice little base down here that I'm gonna probably come down and take as soon as possible. The sooner the better.
Orders received. Affirmative.
So let's make another tactical center. So I can also make a mining station, which is half the cost of the tactical center, and you can return resources to it, which is quite nice.
Sir. Orders, Captain.
So I'm going to grab a training center. Right there is fine. It's kind of like our... It's not quite our engineering bay, but it's kind of an engineering bay. So these mercenary brigands are very cheap, weak but cheap infantry with a small weapon range, able to deploy defensive structures. So these are really cool because I can go ahead and spend money and put him into this autocannon. So let's do that. So let's move him up and then do that. So he can go into like a It's kind of like in Red Alert 2 where you could deploy your GIs. It's much better than that. It costs money. And then they build it, and then you can actually have them leave the little pillbox that they create. And then you can put more guys into it. So, like, here he is. We can abandon it. We can put him back in there. Stuff like that. Really, really neat. Okay, so this is being built. Remember, there was also an optional acquire an ally. So, to do that, we want to build a communications something. Communications tower, so let's do that. Here's our training center, which gives us a variety of upgrades for our infantry. Each 5th attack of brigands deals splash damage. Interesting. Brigands decrease splash damage to nearby units by 30% when taking direct hits. So, if you have a bunch of brigands, they're going to take less splash damage, I guess, with this upgrade, I think is what that ultimately means. And then we have these grenadiers, which they have abilities. I didn't experiment much with these. We'll have to check. Grizzly will use grenades to attack structures. Is neat, too. I'm just going to keep making brigands for now. Oh, okay. So we have some harassment coming in here. I'm going to frantically try to build some an anti-air turret here. Cancel that. We're going to come on down here and try this out. About right there. There we go. So we can deploy these into little anti-air turrets as well, which is what I just did there. Let's set up more cannons. We're going to need gas, and then we're going to make more engineers. So all of our, like, +1, 2, 3 upgrades are at our main structure here. So this is our scrap processor, which is like our supply generator. It gives you 8 supply, but you see 8 of 14. Any destroyed structure will grant 1 scrap to the nearest scrap processor of the same player, and can contain up to 6 scrap. So it gives us 8, but if any buildings around this get destroyed, it can collect it as scrap and give you an additional supply, basically, which I think is a really interesting concept. Very, very cool. Training center, Merc compound, right, so this is all the stuff that we've been looking at already. I'm going to build some more Merc compounds. Just getting a variety of anti-air turrets here to not have to deal with those little guys coming in and harassing us.
Not enough minerals.
We'll have enough minerals soon enough. There we go. We'll get this set up. And I'll build more brigands also. So a little, like, basically mobile missile turrets. And what I like about that is you can unstaff them and then, like, move these guys forward and build new ones. You can't salvage them, I don't think, but I think it's cool that we can basically creep forward with turrets. It's very strong, actually. I'm going to head up here. So these guys aren't hostile to us, even though they have the red circle. This is really interesting when I found this. So I'm going to make a mining station at these red minerals. And if we check these out, Tricobalt Minerals. Each Tricobalt Mineral chunk brought to your town hall will increase your weapon upgrade level by 0.0016 levels. Yeah, so I'm as confused as you are. Like, I understand it.
Upgrade complete.
But it's hard to see it in practice. I think what it does is it passively increases the amount of damage you just do.
Outstanding.
Okay, let's go ahead and throw this down. And then I'm just going to continue to get upgrades. So I'm going to build a mining station here just so that we can. Getting some Windows alerts about viruses, and that's because this is a StarCraft Brood War mod. Oh my gosh, stop. Please, Windows. I'm sorry if the noise is coming through. You have to explicitly allow these mod files for Brood War, else your computer will think they're viruses because they inject code upon startup of StarCraft. Okay, I want to talk about diplomacy here in a moment. Let's get this set up and start harvesting here. And I'm probably going to get some anti-air up there as well. So I did play this whole map already. Actually, I didn't. It crashed on me, so I wasn't able to finish it, unfortunately. I am getting some stuttering, like, every couple seconds. The game freezes on me mildly.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, so let's do this. And then what is this sort of increase amount of harvested minerals by 1? Improved drills. We will get that.
Job's finished.
Okay. And then let's just keep getting these brigands, because I'm going to send some up to build some turrets, because I don't think I have any stationary static defense that is not built with them. This radar here, as far as I can tell, it's just a detector. I don't know if it's supposed to do something else. Starbase and then defense control. I'm going to build defense control right here. That's another thing. Once it's built, you can see, you'll be able to see what it does. Let's go ahead and move these up here. And then I'm going to go ahead and rally up a bunch of workers up here to get these red minerals saturated so that we get some extra damage sent up for us.
Give me something to shoot.
So I'm going to set up flat cannons up here.
Rock and roll. Let's move. Outstanding.
I don't know what the range on these are,
Jacked up and
but I want to get enough of them that can protect us in case these flyers come in and try to kill my workers. Get some more engineers. So it's cool that you can make these mining stations, though all of our major upgrades are done through our town halls, so it's kind of hard to justify.
Reporting for duty.
give me
Okay,
something
very
to
nice. I'm
shoot.
going to build some anti-air down here just in case as well.
Yes, sir.
Keep making scrap processors. All right, so ally control and diplomacy. So it lets you see all the factions on the map, which I think is excellent. I think,
Jacked up and good to go.
if I remember correctly, if we move up here, there is like a...
For duty.
makes us aware of the other faction on the map. So let's go and check that out. We're close to a compound of local miners. From what we know, they are not a threat to us. You might consider contacting their
Give me
leader.
something to shoot.
Right, so that's these guys. They're neutral to us. So if we look at our comm tower,
Job finished.
build a communications tower to contact other factions. So the miners. Right, so we can send them minerals and Vespian. I don't know why we'd want to do that. We can propose an alliance. They reject us. They say no. We could demand their surrender. They're going to reject our proposition. I like the idea of demand surrender because maybe if a faction doesn't have much left, there's some sort of logic in here that iquare set up where like they will actually give up, so that you don't have to hunt down every building. I think that could be really, really interesting and great. Just going to keep getting these upgrades.
Yes, sir.
So we're going kind of slow here, and that's just because I want to explain how this works. So like the pirates, for example, same thing. It says they're already allied, so I think that means that we can't allow them into a separate... Oh, okay. Then they left. So we got some pirate privateers. So this is where our vehicles are built. I'm just going to keep making structures here, and then we can kind of go over what they all do in a bit. Okay, they're coming in at us. You can see these autocannons are pretty solid. And they're just going to run into the grinder. Very nice. So I want to go ahead and get more anti-air up here. As you saw, they did come in with a good amount of it. I want to keep those red minerals safe. I forget exactly what I was talking about. Oh, the diplomacy, right? So I'm going to go ahead and... yeah, so like I can demand the surrender of the pirates. They're going to say no. I can propose a ceasefire. They're going to say no. But it's kind of worth trying all these. I can try to send them money. Oh, they accept the money. Interesting. So I can send them money, but they continue to reject it. So let me go ahead and send some money to the miners.
Job finished.
They accept it. Now let's propose an alliance. They accept.
Upgrade complete.
So now they are our allies. So we can experiment with that every map just to kind of see if maybe there's some things that we can do
Something to shoot, Commander. Give me something to shoot.
to get some additional allies. Now, it's interesting because like you have to
Yes, sir.
like just try stuff, like send money to people and see if they'll accept it. You know, I'm not thrilled with doing that, but let's go ahead and start getting some additional upgrades now. I'm just going to get some more brigands.
I read you.
I can make a refit bay, which is kind of like our armory in a way. Okay, and now, so we have our, like our factory and our starport. Privateers, quick multi-purpose aircraft armed with anti-air cannons and explosive charges. That's what's been coming in against us here. They do anti-ground damage in a splash damage, so it makes these brigands not very useful. We also saw a little thing come over. I think it was this vermin, and that just drops. It basically drops a radiate onto the ground, so that's really good for like harassing the player. So That's why I built some anti-air up there. Now, yeah, that's because I played this map. I haven't played missions 2 or 3, and I don't plan to before recording it. In fact, the only reason it turned out that I played this one prior to recording is because I didn't realize my microphone was coming in really hot. So I think we need a... Yeah, this thing. See how it just drops? It basically drops a radiate on the ground. So let's get rid of that and stop them from harassing us. Just keep getting these basic upgrades here.
You want a piece of me, boy?
And what I'd like to do is build more production where it will fit. Now, our supply structures do take up more space,
Orders, Captain?
as you can see. And let's see what else is available. We're making the refit bay. We made the defense control. I'll show that in a moment. Let's get a research center. So here's the defense control. +2 range to each stationary weapon near the defense controls. +1 weapon level to each stationary weapon near the defense controls. So you build this near some of these turret emplacements, and then you can upgrade your defense controls, I assume individually, and they will help defend you, which I think is just so cool.
Upgrade complete.
Here's the refit bay. Runabout has +1 armor while moving. Faster whirlwind air attack speed. I will get that because we're going to need some of those. These are just, they can only attack air, but they're very strong. And then the runabouts, quick recon unit capable of firing on the move. Shrike, monitor, gunship. Again, these are all just new units here. The vermin we saw the enemy make. We can make these Swisses. They're multi-purpose combat specialists. They can repair. And they repair twice as fast as SCVs. You can bring them along with you. And I believe that they,
Upgrade complete.
they can, like, recycle units. So our allies actually moving in here. So these are the pirates up here. Here are our whirlwinds. It seems like it did not benefit from any upgrades that we had gotten. Anyway, I'm going to continue to get upgrades. I'm going to continue to make, just get all of these different upgrades. Right? I'm just going to make a lot of brigands because they're cheap.
Upgrade complete.
So we've been making whirlwinds. Runabouts, again, they can shoot while moving, which is interesting. Fast all-purpose unit able to slow down enemy units.
Upgrade complete.
Light walker armed with flamethrower. You know your boy wants that. Research center. Unlocks specialists and allows capital ships. Allows researching of excavation. Decreases upgrade and tech research time by 8% per level. Why don't we grab one level of that and then we'll go from there. Guild hall. Let's see what you allow for.
Orders received.
Frontline tank outfitted with active armor. Let's grab a few of
Additional
these.
supply depots required.
And we need depots. I think I'm going to start building them down here because we don't have much space in our main
Additional
base anymore.
supply depots required.
Again,
Your
I'm a
forces are
little
under
confused.
Additional supply depots
I'm a little
required.
confused by the entire tech tree being available. It makes things, I think, very overwhelming. I think that there's so many things here that are so cool, like the idea of like different
Additional
mineable
supply
things.
depots required.
Different mineable things to like contribute towards upgrades and such.
Upgrade complete.
But again, it's a lot.
Your forces are under attack.
It's just a lot. Okay, get in there and help. They're running into the grinder. Again, these turrets are all just great. I'm gonna build some more. And I guess we'll keep making more supply structures.
Job finished. Reporting for duty.
There we go. Keep getting upgrades.
I read you.
Now again, I in many situations I would have moved out by now, but let's grab that advanced
Your
tech right
forces are
there.
under attack.
Affirmative.
I think we've built every building at this point.
Right away, sir.
So I have these whirlwinds which can attack air. For some reason, they're not affected by upgrades. I'm building some of these like flame tank walkers, which I'm really excited about because you know your boy likes his flame tanks.
Roger that.
Upgrade complete.
Let's get some bullfrogs. These are tanks that have some good survivability and they shoot lasers. And then I'm going to make some of these monitors, which these are capital ships. Fragile warship with considerable firepower armed with multiple weapon systems. Right, so let's get some of those. And we'll get some Swisses as well, which we can use to repair us in combat. Our ally just keeps moving out with low-level troopers, just constantly. That's acceptable to me.
Yes, sir. Orders, Captain.
You all get back to mining.
Goliath online.
That area up there is relatively safe. So this just looks like a normal siege tank. We've got active armor. Active armor can activate once per 4 seconds. Each use of armor adds 3 stacks. Each use of the stack decreases incoming damage by 50. So it's basically saying every 4 seconds, it can reduce damage by 3 separate attacks by 50%, which would be huge if it were like large capital ships shooting them, right? Runabout has +1 armor while moving. Increased privateer armor. That seems, you know, a decent passive. We might as well go for it. So we're going to need a mineral dump eventually, so I'm going to go ahead and just make a lot of extra merc compounds. And I'm trying to make a nice group of just stuff in general.
Complete.
+50 Black Ops energy, research snipe.
Battle cruiser operational.
Specialist unit capable of cloaking, sniping enemy infantry, and seizing structures. Well, let's get a couple of these.
Operational. Good day, Commander.
So now we've got our monitors. Keep checking our upgrades. And then research hall. So now I can get excavation. I noticed that the ability to continue upgrading how fast our structures upgrade is gone. Allows engineers to excavate mineral clusters from crevices.
Somebody call for an exterminator? Yes, sir.
Crevices. Is that like maybe some type of terrain that we can harvest from? It might be. It sounds like we just made a Black Ops. I didn't experiment with those at all previously, so today's the day. Or this time's the time, rather. Some minerals to pick up down here. Get it, buddy.
Roger that. Affirmative. Roger
Research complete.
that. Orders received.
So go and return that, and then...
Affirmative.
see, he's just holding resources. Huh. I don't know. I just don't know. Again, there's a lot here. It's overwhelming. I think that, again, I know this is supposed to be like a demo, but it's like, honestly, too much for the first mission. And the fact that the player starts with basically nothing and then can go up to the highest level possible, like, it's the first mission, it's a total conversion. Of course I'm going to build, like, everything, because I want to figure out what it can all do. So I think that that's kind of a strange design choice. It definitely breaks from a lot of what we've seen iquare do in the past. I think the pacing of a lot of his campaigns in the past were excellent, and this is very different. So somewhere's getting nuked. I don't think it's us. You know, cue us getting nuked like right now. Anyway, shoot that vermin away. Shoot down these privateers, and we're doing pretty well. I guess we'll get extra Black Ops energy. So let's hotkey these guys, because I'd like to try to use them. They can cloak, seize the production structure or nuclear facility. Building must be severely damaged.
Upgrade complete.
And then just straight up snipe, which is pretty cool. I love this seize structure. It's like an engineer from Red Alert. Yeah, the original Red Alert. So I'm gonna be making whirlwinds, and I'm gonna be making bullfrogs, and then we're just gonna flesh it out with a bunch of brigands. Because I mean, they're all gonna die, but we can push them to the front line and then build turrets in the middle of the enemy base. And then I'm gonna build some of these shrikes too. I didn't really use these previously. I see fires 5 missiles per round, whatever that means. Let's do it. I wonder if I gave the pirates enough money if they switch sides. Oh, here we go. Now it's back. Enhanced research is back. That's good. I would like to continue those because I want to keep getting, again, basic upgrades here. Missile weapons +3. Beam weapons +2.
All crews report.
Okay. Yep, and I like these monitors a lot. So as you can see, the general scale of a lot of what's going on here is really out of control. So that's why, like, I'm just building a giant army. I see my allies are moving out, so why don't we go with them? We can bring our stuff with them.
Standing by.
Let's go ahead and hotkey these guys that can repair in the field.
Commander.
Let's move everybody up and make sure our Black Ops is coming too, and maybe we can take control of some of their production if we're diligent and have decent timing.
Outstanding. Standing by.
So we want to move in with them. We don't want to push in too far, because I'm actively trying to
Good day, Commander.
get up to the front and kind of get a foothold, which is going to be difficult. Don't just run into them.
Your forces are under attack.
Okay, so let's just get ourselves into position here. So here are the monitors. I love the missiles. They're like almost silly looking.
Your forces are under attack. Complete.
There we go. So we've got the whirlwind that's covering us on the ground. We got some more units coming in to help us. Oh dear. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff coming in. Move in here and repair these.
Your forces are under
My
attack.
ally just sort of abandoned trying to come up here and help me. We lost basically everything. On the positive note, we've got a bunch of stuff still at home. I'm going to go ahead and build... I'm going to build some more Swisses. And I'm just going to get as many brigands up there as possible, and I'm going to make turrets in their base, as I have talked about. And we just have to do whatever damage we can. Because they have a ton of production structures, as you can see. So it's very important that we move in and we get some autocannon set up, and we just sort of have to like spawn camp them to a degree. And then eventually we'll slowly be able to start sniping buildings. So once these finish, they're not going to finish, but I was going to say, if they could finish, we'd be in better shapes. No dice, though.
Upgrade complete.
Let's bring up our flame tanks. Here comes our ally finally. I think we had some privateers that were like diving up there. Oh, I had shrikes as well.
Your forces are under attack.
Again, what I'd very much like to do is just get a couple turrets up here to support us. Move the monitors up. Move the whirlwinds up to cover these. So hopefully, I gave you a decent look at how this faction functions. It's a lot. It's a lot to just, thrust upon the player, kind of straight from the get-go here. But we're pushing into the pirate base. The Shrikes seem pretty good, but I'm going to continue getting monitors because they're really doing it for us. I don't see a reason to change anything. Dude, get a mercenary pyro. He's doing it.
Forces are under attack.
Let's check our upgrades. I'll go beam weapons.
Insufficient Vespene gas.
Never mind, we need gas. We'll go hull armor.
Your forces are under attack.
And again, we have all these tools at our disposal, and you notice that all we're left with now is just a bunch of capital ships. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, why ever build anything except capital ships when they're available to me. I did it because I wanted to show this all off to you all. But again, it does make you question, like, should I ever be bothering with anything? It feels like these structures have so much HP. Yes, heal me, thank you. There we go, our turrets are done, which is going to just absolutely mow down enemy ground units that are coming in at us. I like the idea of this turret creep, though. I'm actually really cool with it. I think it's awesome. Okay, over here. Alright, so those do have +3 coming up, and then we're going to have beam weapons as well. We have a bunch of idle workers. We'll get to that in a second.
Insufficient Vespene gas.
Yeah, so all of our gas is depleted.
Orders, Captain?
We can get 1 or 2 more.
I read you.
There we go. So there's some sort of mechanic where we can, like, salvage destroyed structures for resources as well. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I don't think I build a unit to do that. I think I can hire a mercenary from a mercenary structure somewhere. I can, we can look into that maybe in a future mission. I don't even remember where that was. I thought there was a building somewhere
Upgrade complete.
that I was able to rescue, basically. But I don't know exactly where it was.
Set a course.
Okay, let's clump up here. I had those heal bots, and I don't know where they are right now. Man, just look at that. I mean, our allies are sending in so many units, and they just get mowed down. These militia and brigands are just very bad. But they're a mineral dump, which we have a ton of right now, so it's sort of like we might as well.
Orders, Captain?
Can we take control of any of these, maybe?
Roger that.
I just collected some resources. That's cool.
Orders for duty.
So let's grab a mining station. I wonder if this is infinite or it's only
Your
three.
forces are under attack.
Three total, I'm not sure. Rock and Roll says Omega Squadron. We've engaged the Omega Squadron. They've moved out of position to support their starports. Have we, though? So those are the runabouts that can shoot while moving. They are pretty weak, but I really like the idea that they can shoot while moving, and we've increased their armor while they're moving.
Set a course.
So you can see all these guys are now like, we can just unload them
Give me something to shoot.
and get them back up here. Let's clean this up completely. Our siege tank is shooting lasers. 3 lasers at a time. It says 31.5 damage. That's pretty solid.
All crews
There are
reporting.
my
Receiving
repairers. I don't know if they can repair
Make
if
it
they're
happen.
auto-repairing or not. That's the only thing I'm not sure about. Let's sit them here and see.
Good day, Commander.
I don't think so.
Reporting in. Roger.
Okay, we got a nice group of these monitors. Man, these autocannons are relatively cheap and can push back like a huge number of these militia or brigands.
Set a course.
Orders, Captain? Reporting for duty. Affirmative.
Oh, you know what? I think it's down here. Hang on. Let me
Orders
come up here and check. Are there any other upgrades we want to get? Let's see if this lets us get to the next level. It's 3
Upgrade
total.
complete.
Neutral structures such as the Weapon Trader, Stim Hub, and Merc Cantina can be seized by any unit, but can be captured by other factions afterwards. Desperado, a strong against lone targets. Interesting. Light cannon armed with beam cannon firing in a line, effective against groups of enemies, can attack ground units. That's what we saw. It looked like our enemy had a few of those. Assault aircraft able to convert destroyed structures into resource fields. Melee range mech infantry scans surroundings for resources.
Reporting for
I
duty.
guess I'm going to make one of those because I'm kind of curious.
Affirmative.
Again, this is very much, it's all about experimentation at this point.
All crews reporting.
And learning, like, what the heck most of this stuff even does.
Receiving transmission.
Your forces are under attack.
Outstanding. Go, go, go.
So now we have, like, normal Terran coming and attacking us.
Outstanding.
Might want to get some more of these anti-air turrets.
Let's move.
Hailing
I like the little
frequencies
animation those things have when they're
open. Make it
repairing.
happen.
I read you.
Okay. Give me more gas, please. Our allies, like, out of control. It's like, but they haven't actually done anything, as far as I can tell. Okay, let's go. How are our upgrades going? We're almost to +3 of all this stuff. So it looks like, let's see, maybe if we can request the pirates to surrender. They accept. Commander, one of our regiments report that the pirate forces were destroyed. That is a
Receiving
really,
transmission.
really nice thing to add. Right, you can just kind of keep trying that until it works, and then eventually they just sort of give in.
Outstanding. Standing by. Jacked up and good to go.
Okay.
Standing by.
Pew, pew, pew. See, doesn't it? It feels like maybe it does 31.5 damage across all of the attacks that it's doing, is my thought. Though I really can't be sure. Okay, so there are the starports right there. Maybe we can move up and just start sniping these? Because all we need to do is technically destroy these.
Set a course. Take it slow.
Good job with their air forces down. They won't be able to attack us from the air.
Make it happen.
Oh! Were there not more? There were clearly other factions on the map, but I guess all we needed to do was snipe those? I'm not entirely sure. When I played this the first time, my allies actually ended up... My allies, or maybe it was someone else on the map, it might have been the pirates, destroyed the starports, and I got a notification, like, I got that same output where they're like, hey, the starports have been destroyed. But the mission didn't end. Then I went and I killed the pirates. The mission didn't end, and then, like, maybe 10 to 15 minutes after that, the game crashed. And because I couldn't save because of a separate crash, I was like, I'm not going to mess with this. Now, I want to be clear. Crashes on something as ambitious as this are expected. iquare wants more people to help him test this, and then there wouldn't be as many crashes. So if this is something that interests you, and I hope it does, there's so much here to play around with. You know, check the link below. It's in the description to download this, and you can join my Discord, or I'm sure I'm sure iquare is in a number of places, and you can leave comments on the video as well of feedback regarding this to help him out. Because again, iquare is extremely creative. I think a lot of things that I played on this map hit, but a lot of things also missed. What I think hit was the custom tech tree in general seemed really cool. I think a lot of the units don't really have a role, and they're not really needed. They could probably be fleshed out such that, like, they have more distinct roles, because you don't have much of a reason to build them in many cases. Like, we have many type, like the vermin versus the, whatever the unit was that, like the light flying craft that does AoE versus ground. Those are both, like, worker harass units and anti-infantry. Why do we need two of those, I guess, is my question. I think that's the case across a large spectrum of a lot of these units. A lot of these, again, they sort of fill the same role. We have like 3 different types of infantry that all kind of could overlap, I guess. But what I really like are the brigands and how they build static defense. I'm just going to take some time here to reflect. We obviously have 2 more maps to play, and we'll mess around a bit more. I guess at the end of the day, I just have no idea how to use this faction in an effective manner. I just sort of build a lot of different stuff, and eventually settle on a big mass of high-powered air units to just win, right? And that's how you can always play any, all StarCraft, right? But upon replaying StarCraft recently, like the actual original game, yeah, you could always make mass battlecruisers or use scouts to fly up the side of the map and kill Eldaris, etc., etc. But it's more interesting and more fun, and you can beat maps a lot faster if you use all the tools at your disposal and move out earlier and do something. I get the sense that we were supposed to probably try that here, but I just don't understand how. So I'd love it if people try this themselves, and please come and tell me how am I supposed to use this faction? I don't get it. I don't know. I need someone to explain to me how I'm supposed to use this faction. Anyway, overall, I think this is really interesting. I don't think it's a good idea to just give the player access to literally everything, especially when you're doing what is essentially a total conversion. I see no reason to let the player just have access to everything. It's overwhelming. It's confusing. I think it's going to turn people away. What I will say, here's my metaphor. So iquare and anybody who helped him make this, they had a picture, and they drew lines on it to turn it into a puzzle. They made the puzzle pieces, and they see the full picture. And maybe, they're still refining the full picture. It's not exactly what they want, but they can see it. It's there because they made it, and they cut the pieces. Then they took the pieces apart, put it in a box, shook it up, put it out on a table, and said, put this together in an hour. And that's the rest of us. And we're like, oh, this is a lot. Like, I don't understand any of this. I don't know how any of this goes together. I'm going to need more time. And instead, they're like, whoosh. Whereas, like, what happens when you play most other real-time strategies, or most other games, for that matter, they'll give you only the edge pieces for the first 2 missions. And then they'll only give you, like, certain quadrants of the puzzle. Like, they'll take one quadrant of the puzzle and give you only those pieces. And then they'll give you a larger quadrant and give you only those pieces. But you know that it's basically guiding you along the path. Whereas this, they just give you all the pieces, and it's like someone just empties a puzzle box right in front of you and says, you have 1 hour, put this together. It's overwhelming, and I think you just, well, first I need to sort out all the edges. Then I need to put the edges together. Like, there's a process to that, and most games guide you along that path. And if you're going to give the player something entirely new, I think it's a good idea to consider that process. And I think that alone would solve a lot of the overwhelmingness for lack of a better term, of the map that I just played. But regardless, I think, I talked about a lot of the interesting things that I saw on the map. I think I showed off a lot of the units, not every single one of them, but I showed off a decent chunk of them, and it all seems really, really interesting. So, iquare always puts out bangers. I'm looking to try out some more. There are 2 other maps as part of this semi-demo. So, I hope you stick with it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.